I get it, you scroll through a sea of glossy images, every camera promising crystal clear 4K footage and smart tracking, but the moment you actually install one, it ends up pointing at the wrong spot, missing a face, or just looking like a grainy night vision nightmare. That hesitation is real, especially when you're spending a few $100s on a whole system and you don't want to end up with a pricey paperweight. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video, I'm going to walk through the REOLINK 4K PTZ security camera bundle, show you where it shines, where it trips up, and help you decide if it's worth your money or if you should keep looking. First off, this isn't a single camera you slap on a porch. You're getting an 8x optical zoom PTZ unit, a 16-channel NVR with a built-in 4TB drive, and all the PoE accessories you need to get it up and running. That's a lot of hardware, and it immediately tells you who the system is for. If you're a small business owner who needs to keep an eye on a loading dock, a homeowner with a sprawling property, or a hobbyist who likes to tinker with network video recorders, the bundle makes sense because you get the recorder and storage out of the box, no extra hard drive hunting. On the flip side, if you just want a simple doorbell-style camera for your front door, this is overkill. You'll be paying for features you'll never use, and the setup will feel needlessly complex. Let's talk about installation because that's where a lot of buyers get stuck. The cameras use power over Ethernet, so you run a single Cat5e or Cat6 cable from your router or PoE switch to each unit, and you're done. The bundle includes the PoE injector and the necessary mounting hardware, which saves you a trip to the hardware store. In practice, running the cable can be a bit of a chore if you have to go through walls or across a yard, but once the cable is in place, the camera powers up and the NVR detects it automatically. The initial menu isn't a maze. You fire up the REOLINK client on your phone, scan the QR code, and the camera appears in the live view list. The interface feels like a streamlined version of a consumer router admin page, which is a relief compared to the endless submenus you see on some enterprise-grade PTZ systems. Now for the part that matters most, video quality and tracking. The 4K sensor coupled with an 8 optical zoom gives you enough detail to read a license plate from a decent distance, provided you have enough light. In daylight, the picture is crisp, colors are accurate, and the autofocus locks onto moving subjects without hunting. The auto-tracking algorithm can differentiate between humans, vehicles, and even pets, which is handy if you have a dog that loves to bark at the mailbox. In my test on a suburban driveway, the camera followed a car pulling in, kept the vehicle centered, and sent an alert when the engine turned off. That kind of reliability is what you expect from a smart PTZ camera. Low light performance is where the system shows its limits. The sensor isn't back illuminated, so once you dip below about 5 lux the image starts to get noisy, and the colors wash out into a greenish gray. The built-in IR LEDs kick in around nightfall, but the range is roughly 30 feet. If you need to monitor a dark alley or a far-back fence line, you'll see a lot of grain and the auto-tracking can lose the target. For most residential front yard or garage scenarios, that's acceptable, but a commercial site that runs 24/7 in low light might need a dedicated infrared PTZ unit. Stabilization is another practical point. The PTZ motor is smooth enough for slow pans, but if you try to swing the camera quickly, you'll notice a slight wobble before it settles. That's not a deal-breaker for static monitoring, but it does mean you shouldn't rely on fast, sweeping motions for live event coverage. The 6 hybrid zoom, a mix of optical and digital, lets you zoom in on a detail after the fact, but the digital portion introduces a bit of softness. In my experience, the sweet spot is sticking to pure optical zoom when you need the clearest view. The NVR side of the bundle is where the value proposition shines. The 4TB drive gives you roughly 30 days of continuous 4K recording at 15 frames per second, which is more than enough for most users. The built-in RAID 1 mirroring isn't there, but the drive is easily replaceable if you want more storage. The interface lets you set motion zones, so you can ignore a tree that sways in the wind and only get alerts when a person crosses the driveway. You can also schedule recording windows, which helps conserve space and reduces false alarms. All of this is controllable from the same REOLINK app, meaning you don't have to juggle a separate web portal and a mobile client. One practical weakness I ran into is the firmware update process. The NVR.